Good morning. This is October 28th. It's Tuesday. Yes, I am wearing the hat that we got from Kazakhstan, but this is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly. It's Kyle Mountsier. Today we're talking about EV market, Amazon, and why this hat made from one fox is awesome.
Yes. Such a fun hat.
It looks good with the
So
flat
fun.
brim too, I think.
It actually looks great with the flat brim. There's something that it does kind of sets it up right. You know, look at that tail on that thing.
Got a
That's
full
unbelievable.
tail. Look at this thing.
Got a full
The dogs love this hat, by the way.
I bet they do.
Do you remember what it's called? Oh, I can't
No
remember the
clue.
name of it. So
I
this
don't
is
have that.
this is a hat that we were gifted. You got one. Michael Cirillo got one. In the pictures from back in the day, I believe Brian Benstock got one. Steve Greenfield got one. Chip Perry got one.
Wow.
And this is like the traditional winter hat in Kazakhstan. It is made from a real fox. I was showing it around the halls today here, and one of our AEs, she was like, "I'm going to," in my mind, the fox died of natural causes.
That's cute, but that's not the case.
I said, no. I was like, even better, died of smoke inhalation while saving baby foxes from a
oh,
naturally started fire.
that's when you get the collective like, you
It
know.
is, yeah. No, this is just part of the hospitality. Again, our trip to Kazakhstan was pretty eye-opening in
Absolutely
so many
amazing.
ways, and we have so much to share, including us driving a number of Chinese vehicles, which is going to be a fun part when we put the
Yeah.
video, to which
Seeing-
Nathan, our
and seeing
producer,
a
is like,
factory that literally hosts 3 different brands all at the same time.
creates, 3
12
different OEMs.
12 model lines. Crazy.
It's unbelievable. So Nathan is like, yeah, remember, I was like, give me all the footage so I can actually make some content out of it. Yes. Today's the day. Nathan. There's so much. We do want to let you know we have an upcoming ASOTU Edge webinar, the next in the series. It's Wednesday, November 5th, which, believe it or not, is next week, is November, everybody. 2 p.m. Eastern. This is the topic: AI won't pay off until the data plumbing is fixed, with David Steinberg from foureyes and Daniel Kim from Barnes Crossing. Great group, very savvy users of technology, and they kind of have some insights that are pretty important. And
Yep.
I mean, we talk about the plumbing all the time. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, and if you don't know Daniel Kim, he previously helped co-found Orbi and is now at the Barnes Crossing Group. So the guy's
Knows a thing or
savvy.
two about
He
data.
knows a couple 2-3 things,
Yeah.
you know, about
Yeah.
data.
So make sure you go to asotu.com to sign up for it, so you can be there with us live or get the recording. Regardless, you don't want to miss out. Great conversation there.
Nope.
Let's get into some news. I spent a lot of
Get to
time
it.
talking about the hat. The EV market is undergoing a, quote, recalibration following the end of the federal $7,500 tax credit. JD Power says October electric vehicle deliveries are expected to drop 43% year over year, taking EV market share from 8.5% down to just 5.2%. The September, quote, last call for the credit pushed EV share to nearly 13%, creating a hangover in October. Gasoline models now account for nearly 80% of retail sales, while hybrids still jumped 2 full points to 14%. Automakers are trying to throw money at the problem. Hyundai with a $7,500 Ioniq 5 cash incentive. GM with extended lease deals. Tesla rolling out cheaper trims of the Model 3 and the Model Y. JD Power says overall light vehicle sales did slip nearly 6% as the EV slowdown dragged the entire market down. And Tyson Jominy, our good friend, said, quote, the recent EV market correction underscores a critical lesson. Consumers prefer having access to a range of powertrain options.
Well, first of all, people couldn't see this, but in our notes, in our show notes, it says Tesla's rolling out air quotes cheaper trims of the Model 3 and Model Y. Roll back a couple weeks to our making fun of Tesla and the way that they rolled that out. But this is still like an early thing for me. If we look back to like early summer, late spring, where we pulled a ton of people ahead due to tariffs, we did the same thing in EVs.
Yep,
in
sure did.
August and September. And so I'm not overly convinced that the October numbers are going to be the tail of time here. I think we're going to need January, February to come out to kind of see where the rebalance is, what the market actually wants. So anything that's a knee-jerk reaction around like, oh, market share is 5.2%, I think that's a short-term statement that we have to look at as an industry. To Tyson's point, the market wants a range of powertrains. We see that in the market. And the question is there going to be enough range in the production of EVs or hybrids to give people the option to continue to learn whether or not they want those powertrains? My fear is that the OEMs recoil so much that we don't have enough options in the market.
A little bit of whiplash
to explore.
I still don't see them pulling back on hybrids. I think the plan on hybrids is still full steam ahead. Now, will there be fewer full EV options? I don't know. I think finally we have an opportunity to balance supply and demand in an authentic way. And like you said, we're not going to know until we get through the end of this year, I think, at the earliest, what the actual balance is. And you can't even go quarterly numbers, right? Because October artificially low because all the pull forwards that happened in Q3 in September. So I think the 6-month numbers will tell the story, but we won't know for another month or two. But I don't think it's a freak out moment. I mean, if you sell a lot of EVs, you're obviously feeling it now, but you also felt it in September in the opposite way. So
hopefully it banks some money.
Balance it. Save a little for a rainy day. Speaking of rainy days, I can tie this.
I see you.
Because there's nothing worse than pumping gas on a rainy day or a snowy day. And so, like, do you imagine EV drivers are circling parking lots hunting for chargers? Not true, actually. About 80% of all EV charging happens at home, according to a new study. Quietly, conveniently, far cheaper, actually, than refueling. It says at the pump, but refueling at a public charger. The International Energy Agency is reporting that 83% of EV charging in the US and 80% in Canada happens at home. So 83% of all charging is happening at home in the US. Average home charging costs less than $60 a month, which is half the cost of gas. Most drivers only drive 20 to 45 miles a day. Public DC fast charging, by comparison, costs like $200 a month. So $60 a month versus $200. I can vouch for that. JD Power, again, their EV experience study showing that drivers rate home charging satisfaction at 85 to 100% versus just 85 out of 100 out of just 100 out of 100 for public charging. I can vouch for that too. Brent Gruber, executive director of EV practice at JD Power, said home charging remains the single biggest advantage of owning an EV. So 2 EV stories, one about supply and one about actually EV life. And this one, I think they hit it right on the nose.
In my opinion, this is the biggest challenge to EV adoption and the market curve of home ownership versus home rental versus apartment. And the people that have the access to install home chargers on level 2 charging have a much easier way to get to EV adoption than anybody living in a condo, apartment, or a rental home that maybe the rental agreement doesn't allow for installation. And that requires you go to currently high cost public charging, which is not all that different and actually less opportunistic and less efficient than what you would find with a gas powered vehicle. And so that's the biggest gap that some other countries like China have figured out: public charging at scale or public battery swapping at scale. And until we figure that out, the adoption curve is going to stay with homeowners as the largest.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, even with level 1, like I think I have an F-150 Lightning. It will add about 45 miles a day on level 1. So if you're driving 20 miles a day, you're fine. If you're driving 30 or 40 miles a day, you're not, because also remember that while the car is not at your home, it can't be charging. So it adds about 45 miles if it's plugged in all day, all night.
Oh, yeah.
So, your car's not going to be there. I think you're right on the money on this. It's like I would like to see the percentage of EV owners who actually own a home or rent a home with a charger. It's got to be disproportionate, because if you're in an apartment, I bet the numbers are super duper low on who's willing to own an EV.
Yeah,
unless the apartment complex you live in has a charging infrastructure.
Go drive through an apartment complex, find an EV. Good luck. Right.
No, you'll find 2 EV chargers and they're empty.
Yeah, exactly right.
Speaking of being empty,
stop. Segue
time. Big week for this kind of news.
Yeah, Amazon is sending some mixed messages to the labor market this week. The tech giant is saying they are investing billions to train millions for the future of work, while preparing to lay off tens of thousands of its own. The company launched Future Ready 2030, a $2.5 billion initiative aimed at training 50 million employees, students, and job seekers worldwide. They are looking to train on new tech skills or allow people to switch careers entirely. At the same time, they are reporting this morning cutting up to 30,000 corporate jobs, about 10% of its white-collar workforce. Its largest round of layoffs since 2022. Divisions like HR, devices, operations, and even AWS are expected to see reductions as CEO Andy Jassy trims bureaucracy and leads harder into AI-driven automation. Watch those white-collar jobs roll away. Beth Galetti, Amazon's SVP of People Experience and Technology, said, whether someone dreams of working at Amazon, works here now, or has moved on to the next chapter, our goal is the same. Help them have access to the education and training needed to thrive in whatever comes next.
So I don't think this is a mixed message from Amazon. I think this is a very clear message from Amazon, is that they are adopting more of a startup mentality. And they're saying, if you are going to be here, we're going to help you get better. And
you better be on the most recent thing.
Upskill yourself, because if not, the clear message is like the bottom 10% is going to constantly get trimmed. I know this is a strategy for a lot of large organizations, and where they will legitimately look to cut the bottom 10% of performers and roles of efficiency every single year. Now with AI tools rolling in place, I think it's a very valid thing that, workers who are fearful because of AI have the opportunity to lean in and upskill themselves. And this, it's almost like the job market now is like a little reflection of just entrepreneurial life. Like you can like either cannibalize yourself or wait for someone else to eat your lunch, right? So it's like this thing, like you have to replace yourself by upskilling, by being willing to try new things, by being willing to look at what you do now and say, maybe this doesn't have as much value as it did 2 years ago. And if you don't do that, then I think you are at risk. But if you have that mentality and you're with an entrepreneurial company who's willing to invest in your growth and like help that path forward, I think you're going to be in a better position in 2 years from now.
I think outside of work learning is going to have to be like a very normal thing at this point.
That's a critical point,
because
that's
critical. The pace of work right now for those that are efficient with software tools, AI tools, anything like that is so much higher that you can't afford in work learning. And so for those that want to keep their jobs or stay ahead and be more proficient than the bottom third and then the bottom 10%, self-learning and self-education is a must, absolute must.
That's a really great point. I think in this push for efficiency, the market dictates efficiency, it dictates pricing, it dictates what you can charge for something. It doesn't leave a lot of room for learning everything there is to learn on the job. Now, some things and practitionership, yes, but you're right. If you're not committed to honing your skill set outside of work to bring things to the table inside of work, I do think you're at risk. I really think this is resumes and college education and all of these things matter less and less and less in the modern workforce. And I think what employers are looking for is like, what does this person bring to the table? Period.
And are they curious? Are they?
Well, that's part of what you. That's part of what you bring to the table, right? Yep. Like it's interesting times, but this is where the entrepreneurial side of the workforce, I think, is going to have to go a little broader scale, which is beneficial because I think like millennials and Gen Z are some of the most entrepreneurial generations we've ever had.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's invented the side hustle. Right?
The side hustle.
I meant to hit that button, not that button. Oh, like whatever's going on. Look, we help you learn a little bit, open your horizons a little bit, go out there, learn a little something, bring something new to the table so that we all together can move this industry forward. We'll see you here tomorrow.